Welcome to Lit Pips Sunday Setup Market Outlook. Today's the 20th of October, Sunday 2019. And what we have for the week ahead is a very interesting week. When we look into the economical events that are happening, we do have a lot of things such as interest rate decisions. We start with China. They have the first interest rate decision of the week on Monday, early hours in the morning. Should be a calm and fair result with, of course, China having a good interest rate. However, we do have, the overlooming Brexit, which Jacob today is going to go into a bit more detail on. But again, moving forward, we have an interest rate decision for the European Central Bank, which is the euro. That should be a very good result. That's on Thursday. Okay. And moving into Friday, there isn't really much on the market that can heavily affect markets, to be honest with you. But of course, with ongoing trade talks, with Brexit and of course the negotiations and the problems that Trump has, we could see, of course, a very big week. Also, as well, actually, just to tie this in, this would be a very big week for a lot of stocks. Okay, this is the most anticipated week of the year because a lot of earning reports will be released. This is going to, of course, be deciding factors to understand if people are going to be putting money in to the American economy or taking money out. So, of course, you can see we've got companies here like Tesla, PayPal, McDonald's, Visa, the larger brands that you recognize. These companies, do actually have a massive part to play. Microsoft, eBay, they have massive parts to play on the American markets. So when we, tie that into my first pair that I'm going to analyze today, which is US 30, we are, of course, waiting for price to come down. But as we can see, we have had for some time now a range of lower highs and lower lows. Higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows. And when we've had the lower lows, lower highs, it's been very short and inconsistent. So the overall picture is showing us higher lows and higher highs. And what we do really want to see is price actually break this area, okay? I have got a sell waiting here at the top. And if you took our trade, you would have caught the sell that we sent out last week on this as well. But more importantly, I am waiting for a higher high to be formed. Once we get a higher high, go into smaller time frames, see some wick rejection, and then, of course, have more confidence to look for a short to hold. With that being said, of course, if we do have a very good week with these companies, we can expect to see that push higher that we're looking for with the US 30. Looking at the weekly, this does actually show you with the doji that was formed, it does show you there has been a level of indecision. So this, of course, could be a big important candle that plays, a pivotal push in price moving up. But of course, we understand with price action, candles will never really just shoot up and shoot down. Okay, if they do, they then sort of come back to restoring their balance, which of course is imbalance. But with that being said, what we want to really pay attention to here is just the fact that this candle isn't really showing us any significant direction. And because we do have the earnings coming out this week, this should really be a big point to play in US 30, at least creating a new high, okay, taking out these equal highs here. And of course, if we are lucky, we can see a higher push, but ultimately, eventually, what we do want to be looking for is the short on this. So I'll keep you informed and updated if we do get a push more back down towards this range here, which is more of a daily support. If we do get a push down here, then of course I will be looking to ride this back up. But as it stands right now, the interesting factor I'm really looking at is around this level here. We've actually seen price consolidate, and we've seen price move drastically away from. So we just really want to have a wait through to maybe Tuesday, see what the markets are showing us, and then prepare to make a move. My other pair I'll be watching is Euro AUD. I am wanting Euro AUD to climb higher. With that being said, the thought process behind looking at Euro AUD. We have had a range going upwards, okay, but with, of course, quite recently having a stronger euro, and we've already seen Australia release their interest rate last month, and they didn't match their forecast, so we can see a sort of decline in potentially the euro against the Aussie, and therefore I am in favour of a bullish rally. With that being said, I don't have any real entry on this yet. Price is stalling, okay, and pay attention to when price starts to make equal lows. But you know what we can see is prices maybe just accumulating and reaccumulating here for a nice push up. And you know, if we're looking at how much pips we can catch on this type of trade to actually clear, you know, the immediate equal high here, just to clear that high here. I mean, think about this high. This high is the 150 pip move. The next one, we're looking at around about 235 pips. So, you know, this is definitely a trade that I'm going to consider. I will be looking to make an entry. The only way I'm going to do that is by, of course, waiting to match my criteria, wait for the markets to align up to what I have. And providing I have that, I'll let you guys know. So just add this to your watch list. You should always have our watch list on yours, just so that you can be informed and, of course, have an open eye to having a look at what we're looking at so that you can see the same thing. Going into the daily on this, just showing you candles. Again, we're not really seeing much. Another doji. This is more of a potential bearish, bullish reversal. With this candle, it's more of a hammer. And you know what we would now like to see is price really push up away from this candle, showing us that the lower prices was rejected, it was honored, and you know now we are looking at a push up to clear the equal highs. So oil, just a quick one for me on this. I am bearish on this. Okay, I am waiting for lower prices to really be achieved. Within this discounted zone here, I would like to see price come down to 47. So I am calling it. I'm calling oil to drop down to $47 over the next 2 months. So let's see what happens. You know, I've got targets above that I would still like to be, you know, tapped out before maybe getting the overall move down. But I am bearish on oil as it stands at the moment. And last but not least for me, Euro NZD. So for myself, I have been looking at this pair. We did actually give this out for a lot of our premium and lit community supporters. We gave this out, which was over 185 pips long, short on this one now. Again, what I'm looking for, just to kind of walk you through the setup on a naked chart, I am, of course, seeing that we have had higher highs. Prices eventually broken the higher high, but price, once it has been formed up here, this price has actually broken this structure. So I am looking for price to reverse and come down. Of course, we do have a neckline here. I would like to see price at least come and react off of this neckline before we look at any other moves. So with that being said, again, if we look at, you know, the amount of pips we're giving you guys for free, man, no cap. So yeah, 300 pips to the downside is what I'm looking for in terms of Euro NZD. I'm not expecting this to happen within a day. Okay, this will be a trade that I will hold and I have been holding. To give you an insight as to the structure of what Euro NZD is forming right now, it's beautiful. Okay, it's really honoring a nice channel that you can use to actually get into re-entries. And with that being said, we can see price eventually broke the equal highs to grab the liquidity, and now price has come back down. Now, ultimately, I'm looking for price to react off of this level around this support, which you can see it's generally had, and you know, price come down again to this neckline. One here, of course, the deeper one is beneath, but if we look for a more immediate target, okay, because the market is not just going to chuck us, you know, 300 pips, even if we ask nicely. So, you know, what I am looking for is a move downwards, and that move being round about 125 pips. So yeah, I'll keep you informed and up to date on this pair. Again, we've had some really good entries with this. I mean, I had an entry up here, okay, last week. Made a few entries on the way down. This was the last entry that I made. Let's have a look. Yeah, I'm not quite sure why I have this this box here. Doesn't really mean much. But yeah, here was another entry that I took here. My entries have been 1, 2, 3, 4. I missed this entry. I just sat it out, to be honest, because I'm in enough positions. And yeah, I'm going to let this trade come down. So ultimately, guys, my key thing to say to you guys is find some pairs out of what we're showing you guys. Find some pairs that you can connect with, that you like. And then from that, keep your eye out for those pairs. We're going to show you multiple pairs we're looking at. Doesn't mean you have to trade every single pair, but if you have a key select few of pairs that you want to trade, I would suggest maybe going for 2 or 3 pairs that you're gonna divide your account balance to, because at the end of the day, if you're putting on a trade for GU, you're putting on a trade for EU, then you're putting on a trade for pound yen, for example. These are all different pairs which can all contain a different amount of pips, which can put your account at different levels of risks. So stay grounded, stay focused, and yeah, keep it short, keep it simple. Over to you, Jacob.
Cool, bro. Evening, guys. Hope you guys are well. I'm gonna start off by going over GU. I just want to talk to you lot about the vote which happened on Saturday. So I'm not sure if you guys were following it or aware, but government actually had a vote which was for an amendment called the Letwin Amendment. And what they were voting for is to see if they could delay Brexit. And they actually passed the amendment. So the amendment was, I think it was 322 yes to 306 no. So that actually got passed. So they aim to delay Brexit until the right legislation is now passed for us to leave the EU. This will be seen as a loss for Boris Johnson and the government. So this could have a negative impact leading into this week. So GU is a pair that I'm watching in regards to us maybe having a retracement on it, as the pound has been rallying to it's having the best time of its year right now. It's been at all-time lows. So now that Boris Johnson, he's now going to have to negotiate with the EU to see if we can delay Brexit until January, which is what they're aiming to do now. So this could be seen as a negative effect. So depending on how the market opens, I will be looking to maybe get into a sell position, because we do have downside targets. I'm not saying it could hit this all-time low just from that news alone, but we should maybe have a retracement, because it wouldn't be seen as positive news. If the deal was passed, the rally could have continued, in my opinion. But now that we have Boris Johnson, he would have hit a roadblock in regards to the deal he negotiated last week with the EU, with it not being passed. So we could now see a possible pullback, as pound did have a very strong last 2 weeks. They've been very strong. So a pullback is what we would be looking for, just going off of areas of possible targets just left behind. But just be cautious as to the vote was on Saturday, so depending on how the market opens, we could even see a gap, because it could gap anyway. It could gap up, could gap down, so just be wary of that. But if the conditions look right, then I will be looking to enter a short on GU. I haven't looked at the other pound pairs. My main focus is GU right now. But if the pound is due to have a week, return this week, then all pound pairs should be looked at in a short-term sell of some sort. So keep your eyes on that. That will be a pair to look for this week. I also want to show you guys USD CAD. Now this one, you got to be very patient with it. It's testing a lot of people's patience in regards to what it actually wants to do. I have seen a valid setup with the equal highs is created and such like that. So where it's actually getting to now, we are getting to areas of buying opportunities again. So if we go to from this candle here, I do believe that we could see a setup, a valid setup or a valid entry. So I do believe prices come down in order to grab some buyers that have been in this for a little while and take their liquidity, and then it could play out until to a reversal area and wipe out the highs it has left above. Because overall, we do have a setup for a long-term sell, but the areas that it's reversed from, it didn't actually reach. So I was actually hoping for price to come a bit higher. We didn't actually get that yet. So I'm not convinced we are going to get the big sell. So hopefully we get a reversal, sometime this week. But, USD CAD, it has been playing with a lot of people in regards to what they think it can do. So yeah, it does make sense. I do see what the market is trying to do in regards to this, in terms of taking buyers out who have maybe been in for a long time, and then getting a reversal from there. So another pair to look out for is USD CAD, because this will be a big return. This will be a swing trade. Going up over 300-400 pips. This could be so very patient. Let price play out and show you signs of bullish momentum or bullish smart money entering the market before we execute. So I will keep you guys updated with this one. Another pair I'm looking at is it was gold euro. So I do trade gold euro and gold US as well, but with gold euro, the market seems a bit cleaner for me in terms of what it wants to do. Gold US, I would show you guys, but it seems a bit choppy right now. It's a bit hard to decipher what it wants to do. I do see price coming a bit lower, in order to grab some liquidity from areas. If I go on the daily, I'll show you. Let's just zoom in a bit. Yeah, taking out all of these wicks where there might be stop losses below, and going off of the zones I've got. We do have some imbalances it can fill as well. So I do believe it will keep coming down in order to be a buy. And then, yeah, we should get a big sell, a big term sell from the higher up areas. But I'm still, going to let price play out and wait for the market to come to us and never chase it. So, you could enter the sell depending on how it looks when the market opens again, because, that is well over like 120 pips from one of the areas that we have marked. So yeah, I'm waiting for this setup, because gold does pay well, and if you get a good position on gold and you're able to swing it, which we're trying to do, it will be very, very profitable. The last setup I have for you guys is just to go over USD JPY. I am still in this sell. I'm not sure if you guys took this trade with me, but I did tell you to keep your eyes on it. It took a little while to play out, where just going off of the candle we had here, it tricked us in, it pushed up, and then it started consolidating for a bit, and then on the actual leading up to the last 2 days of the market, we did get the actual push. There was a lot of entries here that you could have took, but because it did take a while, these are all 4-hour candles, so price did stay up here for a while. But I do believe we should get the push down lower now. So if you did take that trade, you should be in about at least 50 pips profit from where it is. If you didn't, then depending on how the market goes, if it does go lower than here, my advice would be to watch for this candle here for a possible retest. And yeah, we could get a re-entry off of this candle too. So yeah, just watch out for it. So let the markets unfold. It is Sunday. Monday, Monday morning, you might not get that volatility that you're after. You might get it. You never know what the market's going to throw at you. But Sunday, when the market opens, I won't be taking no trades immediately. Just going to let it play out and then see what the week holds for us. So hope you guys are having a nice evening. Let's get it.
Yeah, guys, thanks for rocking with us. Stay tuned. Last thing I'll say as well, keep your eyes on the DXY this week. A lot of bearish momentum to potentially continue. And remember, every day is money day.